Hey, what's going on? Thanks for clicking on the video. My name is David Pendleton, and today we're going to cover Grunberg Slopes Hole 6, which is a par 5, currently on tour number 8. So we're going to spend a little bit more time on this video than I normally do with some of the other hole-by-hole breakdowns, just because, it's a little bit trickier of a hole, and it's a hole that a lot of people make mistakes on, in which I'm going to show you how to capitalize on those mistakes. You will see me play this very long par 5 with a navigator only, as I normally do on Tour 8. If you would like to know more about why I use a navigator only and what my strategy is on Tour number 8, then click on the description below, and there's a link to my Tour 8 strategy video. Besides that, if you're not a subscriber, I hope you become one. That would be awesome. And secondly, take just a second here and hit that thumbs up button for me, as that means a lot to us creators. So let's go into the replays. Well, first, I'll talk to you about elevation, I should say. Shot number 1, your drive is played at 10% elevation. Shot number 2 is basically played 0%. Normally on shot number 2, I play 1 for 1 with the wind. And then shot number 3, if there is a shot number 3, if you're not on the green in 2, which sometimes you just won't be, is played at 10% elevation. But that's a very easy chip-in, which I will show you. Now, keep in mind, like I said, all my replays are with navigators only. I'm not saying that's the ball you have to use. You just play whatever is good for you and whatever makes the game fun. But you don't need more than that ball on tour number 8. And if you are using better balls like Katanas, Titans, and Kingmakers, you're going to have a little bit of an easier time with this hole than I am. But like I said, everything here is going to be relatable to what you're doing. So the first thing I do is I typically apply full topspin to my shots. And you're going to see me normally always playing right here on this part of the fairway. And notice here, I normally give myself about 1 ring of air. So see how my yellow ring is right there on the rough line? That is normally where I aim. Just in case I hit a great right shot, I'll still be okay and not clip that rough. You don't want to play too close to the rough line, just in case you do hit a great shot. Here I normally overpower my shots. But as you can see here, the overpower is very slow because I didn't push my rings back up to max after I pulled. And all I'm trying to do is get the ball here onto this little skinnier part of the fairway. If we're able to accomplish that, we're going to be just fine for shot number 2. Now this is our opponent. They have an extra mile 9, so a better driver. And I'm only showing you this to kind of show you one thing to avoid. Notice here from the get-go, he has his ball guideline lined up into the rough. This is something I actually see people do, and I don't know why. He's expecting the wind to carry him, but you need to make sure that you line up correctly, because once you go into the bunker here, you're not going to be making it to the green in 2. In fact, you're going to be very far from anything. This is what shot number 2 looks like. Shot number 2, I would say I use topspin, but I want you to notice my ball guideline. I never use full topspin if it's pointing me into the rough. That is very important to note when you play this hole. If you use too much topspin, even with a perfect ball, you may end up in the rough. Okay, so I use enough topspin to make sure that I'm not pointing towards the rough. And like I said here, I normally play 1-to-1, so I'll pull this 7.7 rings, and I use a lot of curl. And now you can see here, we're just trying to find this little slope to get this down towards the green. So that was a very easy one to do. And this is what a shot looks like from the bunker. You can see here you're going to be nowhere close, even with the level 5 Spitfire. So this opponent has good clubs. The only thing that I recommend is if you're ever in the bunker or you're ever in the rough, which I'm going to show you replays of me being in the rough, always make sure you don't take an unnecessary shot like our opponent is here. Using max overpower out of the sand is more than likely going to put you into the next bunker, or it's going to put you into the rough again. And that's something you never want to do. You always want to land on the fairway to at least give yourself a shot to save the hole. And there's no way he's making that shot unless he gets lucky. Okay, so that's a win right there. Here we have an opponent using an APOC and a Kingmaker. Opponent takes a normal shot and he hits himself a good drive. So remember, this is a power 3 ball. We're going to be using a power 1 ball. All right, so we've both teed off, and we're both pretty much in the same area. All right. So he's on the green, no problem. You notice here how I said that top spin? I only use enough, so I'm not going into the rough. You'll see that right here. Remember to use yourself a heavy amount of curl when it comes to shot number 2. All you're trying to do is just catch this little part of the slope that brings you down towards the pin. I only put this replay in here to debunk the method that you have to use Kingmakers and Titans on long par 5s in order to stand a chance. A lot of people will talk about getting out-clubbed or people using better balls than them, and that's why they lose. That's not true. If you have skill at the game and you know how to attack each hole, you're going to be able to hang on any hole regardless of the ball that you use, with the exception of some higher tours like maybe Tour 11 and 12. Okay, so this opponent here is playing with a katana, and he's playing from the right-hand side. But again, take a look at how far over he is into the rough and into that snowy area. He even hit a good shot to the left, and he was still stuck in there. Again, the opponent was playing by feel, so I just put that in there to show you, make sure you're pulling your rings and make sure you're setting up correctly. Because like I said, we just see a lot of opponents mess up these holes. Okay, so here's another example of where I'm using just enough topspin to keep myself out of the rough. And I know I've talked about that a lot, but I think that's something people don't know on this hole. And you can see here a heavy amount of curl. And all we're trying to do is catch this little slope that pushes our ball down towards the green. It's that slope right there, as you can see. Once we hit that, we get a nice roll. So we're on the green in 2, and we're going to have an easy win because our opponent was stuck in the rough. And this is what the opponent's shot looks like out of the rough. You can see here that you can get nowhere close to the green. He's very far away. So we pick up an easy win there. All right, this is an opponent using a power 5 ball. And I'm only showing you this replay just in case you ever want to drive to the left-hand side of the fairway. You can see what shot number 2 is. You saw here on my graphic that I never, ever play this side of the fairway. It is a much more difficult drive. It's going to be very wind angle dependent on if that drive is going to be easy or not. So you see where his icon is? I never, ever go that way. I always go this way. It is the most consistent way to play the hole. So you can see here, we're down here in that area again. Now, I want you to keep in mind that he's using a power 5 ball and a powerful wood club and getting tailwind. And you can notice that when you go this way, it's a more difficult path to the green, especially with everything that he is using. Most people are not going to be using a Guardian, and most people are not going to be using a power 5 ball. Even with all that, he has to hit a very good shot to get to the green, and here he gets stuck in the rough. No problem, that's an easy chip in, but I just want you to notice here that with our power 1 ball, we're doing the same thing we always do, and here we are right next to the green. So he makes his shot, and this is that shot that I was talking about that I play at 10%. So if you ever have to have a shot number 3, this is played at 10% elevation, and you can see we're dead center of the cup heading to a shootout. All right, so now I'm just going to show you some other games just broken down one-on-one. So here we have wind blowing from left to right. I'm sorry, from right to left. This is the only time I ever play over here on this side of the rough line. Normally I'm playing with my target over on the left side of the fairway there. But here, we pull our 10% and we use a little bit of right curl. But ultimately our drive ends up in the same area, okay? This is what shot number 2 looks like from here. Again, I'm just showing a lot of shot number 2s just to really hammer in that top spin thing. So you can see here I'm leaving my ball guideline short of pin, and you can notice how far away I am from being able to make it to the green, which is why you see me use a lot of overpower with max curl. And we're kind of down here in this part of the fairway. But I just want people to understand that this is an easy shot to make because you're always going to be taking it with your wedge. And, you know, if you get used to making these shots and taking these shots consistently, it's going to make you a lot better player overall. And it's going to make you a much better tournament player too. But you can see with the perfect ball, we're going to be hitting this thing dead center every time, and we get ourselves in for an eagle. Now you can see our opponent here is in the middle of the fairway after his second shot. So he must have drove the rough or the sand, and we're going to take advantage of that. You can see here I'm almost always using full curl to the left. And that's just because I want to swing the ball around just like this. And I just want to catch this little slope down here to try to push ourselves towards the green. Now, obviously, you missed it here, but I like showing these because, again, I misput the graphic there. This should be 10% elevation, everybody. 10%, we are playing the shot downhill. Perfect ball. You know, again, we always get into the cup with that. And then we pick ourselves up another win. And I think we don't need to see any more of these drives. I think we all get the idea of the drive. So this is a tailwind shot for shot number 2. You see me doing the same thing with the top spin here. And then you'll see me doing the same thing with the curl. You know, this time we do catch the slope and it pushes us down towards the pin. And we roll back down onto the green. So very easy as far as that goes. You can probably skip over that hole, yeah. Same thing, max curl. This time we do catch that slope and we roll down towards the fairway. Okay, so here is a headwind approach. I know this is a longer video, but I do think it's important for a par 5 to show you that you can play this even in headwind with a power 1 ball. But here, of course, we're going to be using overpower. And the more you can get used to overpower needle speed, the better tournament player you'll be. You can see our opponent there is in the rough. So this is something that we have to take advantage of. Here we're going to obviously just be laying up on the fairway because we can't really make it down to the green. But here's that shot, 10% elevation. This time I have the graphic correct. We're taking it with our wedge. Oh, looks like I'm going to take this one with our thorn. I'll probably put that in here on purpose just to show you that what a thorn shot looks like. Same thing, 10% elevation. Perfect ball. And we get into the cup. Hit the pin. But, you know, we pick up another win. All right, so this is a very tough wind angle to try to get ourselves to the green in 2. With any ball, really, when you're getting 10.5 mile per hour headwinds. But, you know, I do put this in here to show you that it is possible. And here's another shot there with our wedge at 10% elevation. Got the graphic correct this time. Hey, but anyways, I'm just showing you a safe way to play a very long par 5 on tour number 6. Again, you pick whatever ball you want. I'm just showing you that it is possible to play and compete and pick up wins with just a power 1 ball. But here is what I would tell you is sometimes I do drive the rough, you know, just like everybody else to hit a bad shot. It's very important that you just give yourself a nice, easy shot and land on the fairway. You don't ever see me overpower these shots. I take a normal, controlled shot so that I can land on the fairway and try to save myself, save the hole. So this is me right here on the same shot that I just took from the rough. 10% elevation. This time I'm taking it with my thorn, obviously, because, you know, I'm not really close to a wedge range. But you can see here, dead center, we save ourselves on the hole. So you don't need to go crazy on this one. You just need to have a good strategy. I really hope you find this helpful. Please subscribe, please hit the thumbs up, and everybody have a great day. Thank you.